Keep your eyes open. Keep watching. Because whatever you see can inspire you. And always remember, every reality begins with a dream. Always dream, even if does not come. It is enough that you believe in your dream. At the beginning of the movie, we are shown a man named Jack Torrance. He came to get a job as a caretaker at the elegant mountain hotel overlook. In the next scene, we are shown the wife of Jack, Wendy, and their son Denny. From their dialogue, we understand that they are going there all winter, and also learn that the boy has an imaginary friend named Tony who says that he does not want to move to live in a hotel. We return to the job interview that Jack is taking. It turns out that he worked as a teacher at school, but according to him, he was not satisfied with the salary, and he became interested in writing books. The hotel is open from May to October and closes in winter. As due to the large accumulation of snow, it is too expensive to maintain the hotel and the roads in order. The employer warns that it is not physically hard work, but it can be burdened by the oppressive feeling of isolation. Then the manager tells Jack about the tragedy that occurred in the hotel. The man and his family also came to work in the hotel for the winter, but at some point he got mad and killed his whole family with an axe, carefully folded the bodies in the west wing, and put both trunks of his shotgun in his mouth. According to the police, it was a reaction to the locked space for a long time. In response, Jack assures that nothing like this will happen to him. We are shown a boy who communicates with Tony. He says that Dad has already got a job and is about to call his mother and let him know. That's what happens. The child is trying to ask Tony why he doesn't want to move to this hotel, which he doesn't want to answer. Then Denny has a vision, and we are shown one of the most famous scenes in the film. We see the doctor examining Danny, asking him about Tony, but he doesn't want to talk about him. Mom and the doctor move to another room where the doctor says that the boy is physically healthy and such attacks are not uncommon and that it is more like autosuggestion. Wendy says that Tony appeared around the time the child went to kindergarten. The boy did not like it there. He hurt himself badly and stayed at home. Then we find out that it was a shoulder dislocation and the boy's father, Jack, did it, returning home intoxicated and in a bad mood. And at that moment, Jack promised Wendy not to drink anymore. He kept his word. Closing day, the family arrived at the hotel. Danny is playing darts, then turns around and sees the two girls from his vision. Meanwhile, the manager gives Jack and Wendy a tour of the hotel, shows them their room as well as a huge maze that is located on the territory of the hotel. At the hotel, the family meets Chef Dick, who is interested in Danny. He thinks that the boy has shining the ability to see the other world and predict the future. Under the pretext that he wants to treat the child to ice cream, he stays alone with him and tells him that he, like Danny, has the shining, and he understands it well. The boy says that when he falls asleep, Tony shows him different events. But when Danny wakes up, he can't remember everything. The child asks Dick about room 237 and says that the man is afraid of her. Dick denies it, but you can see he's lying. He tells the boy never to enter this room and to stay as far away from him as possible. A month has passed. Wendy brings Jack breakfast to bed. We see that they are doing well. They eat, talk, and laugh. Jack says that when he arrived at the hotel, he had a strong sense of déjà vu, as if he had been here before and knew what was around every corner. Wendy and her son play on the street and resort to the maze, walk around it and admire its beauty and size. Wednesday on the news, we are told that heavy snowstorms are beginning, because of which the family will no longer be able to get out into the city and they will be isolated in the hotel. The boy rides a bicycle around the hotel and sees the number 237. He tries to open the door, but he can't do it, and he leaves. Next, we are shown how Jack is trying to write a book, but he has a creative crisis, and nothing works out. Wendy comes to tell him the news about the upcoming snowstorm, and says that she will come to him later to read something that the man is angry with and sets new rules. When he types something, "You can't approach him," to which Wendy agrees, and a man brutally kicks his wife out of his space. Saturday, Wendy tries to call from the hotel, but the phones don't work. She contacts the Forest Service, who inform her that some telephone lines have been damaged by snowfall and that they will most likely not be repaired until spring. Also, a man from the service advises a woman not to turn off the radio, and if they have problems, contact them. We are again shown a boy riding a bicycle through the corridors of the hotel, but this time, on his way, he meets two girls whom he saw earlier. They call him to play with them. The boy is in a state of severe fright at this time. We are also casually shown a scene where their dead bodies lie in the same place and a bloody axe next to them. Here we understand that these are the daughters of the man. The hotel manager told Jack about Wednesday. Denny plays with cars, and as if a ball is rolling towards him from nowhere. He is scared and looking for his mother, but sees that the door is open in room 237. Wendy here screams and runs to see what's going on. Jack has a nightmare and screams. He dreamed that he had cut his wife and son with an axe and even into small pieces. The woman tries to calm her husband and says that everything will be fine. Meanwhile, Denny goes to his parents, to the mother's instructions to go to the room. The boy does not react. The frightened mother runs up to her son and sees that the child's clothes are torn and the neck has a bruise in the shape of finger phalanxes. She suspects that Jack did it and starts yelling at him, but the man is in a state of shock and does not understand what is happening. After a quarrel, the man goes to the Golden Hotel room or simply to the bar. There he meets a familiar bartender named Lloyd, and a bunch of alcohol containing drinks appear on the shelves of the recently empty bar counter. The bartender pours Jack a drink, but the man does not find money in his wallet. Later we will understand that our main character, without noticing it, sold his soul for drinking. At the same time, we are shown a clearly frightened Wendy, who is looking for her husband and runs to a bar. She tells Jack in horror that there is a crazy woman in one of the rooms who tried to strangle their son. It happened in room 237. A man goes to this room to assess the situation, and there he meets a naked beauty in the bathroom. They kiss, and at the moment, looking in the mirror, he sees the decaying body of an old woman. She laughs ominously, and a man, gripped by the horror of what is happening, leaves the room. Next, we are shown Dick, who clearly felt something wrong, tries to call the Torrance family. But he can't do it because of the breakdown of the hotel's phone lines. Jack and Wendy quarrel. She asks him to leave this hotel and return home as she is worried about her son. But Jack is clearly against it. He yells at her and says that he finally got better at work and that she is trying to ruin his life again. She cries, and he leaves their room in a rage and goes to the bar. The Golden Room is full of people. There's a party. Jack bumps into a waiter and he spills drinks on his clothes. They go to the toilet to deal with this incident. Here we find out that the waiter's name is Grady. Jack tries to ask the man if he has met him before and if he worked here as a caretaker. But Grady denies everything. The waiter has a wife and 2 daughters, and this information clearly reminds us of someone. Jack tells him about this incident and says that he worked as a caretaker at this hotel. But the man again disagrees and claims that he was always just a waiter. But Jack was always the caretaker. At the end of their dialogue, Grady advised the man not just to talk, but also to punish those who disagree with him. Grady also followed this method in relation to his family. Meanwhile, Wendy walks anxiously around the room and thinks about how to save her son, and comes to the conclusion that she should take him in a snowmobile to the doctor. Mom hears Denny shouting a word many times. She runs to him. He shouted the word red, red rum. She tries to calm him down, but Tony tells her that Denny isn't here and that he can't wake up. Next, we are shown how Jack has clearly started something bad and turns off all the remaining ways of communication with the outside world. The morning of the next day, Dick, after many attempts to call the Torrance, still decides to visit them. Wendy, taking a bat with him as a precaution, goes down to the hall where Jack usually works, but he himself is not there.
Then the woman decides to see what her husband wrote and is horrified because the same phrase, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, is repeated on all sheets of paper. At this moment, Jack appears. He is furious and accuses his wife of not understanding what responsibility he has, that he was entrusted with the hotel and he signed the contract. The woman is scared and tries to go to her room, but he follows her and says that he only wants to correct her brain. In the end, she stuns him with a baseball bat, and the man falls down the stairs. While Jack is unconscious, Wendy takes her husband by the legs, drags him into the kitchen, and locks him in the pantry. When he wakes up, he says that they won't go anywhere, and that she should check the snowmobile. That's what she does. As it turned out, he disabled him. After a while, Grady knocks on Jack's pantry and says that he is not sure that the man will be able to cope with the task assigned to him, to which Jack makes a promise that he will definitely finish what he started. Grady opens the door for him. Next, we are shown a scene where Mom is sleeping and Denny, taking a knife from her table, comes to the door and writes the word red rum on it with red lipstick, saying it many times along the way. And then he starts screaming, awakening the woman. She is scared and sees a reflection of the door that says murder in the mirror. At the same time, Jack begins to chop the door to the room where Wendy and Denny are hiding with an axe. Mom and baby are hiding in the bathroom where she manages to open a small window. She helps the boy get out through the window, but she can't get through herself immediately. Jack, entering the room, begins to chop the door to the bathroom where Wendy is with an axe. And here we can watch another scene which has also become quite famous. Jack, having cut through the door, tries to open the lock, but Wendy manages to wound him with a kitchen knife. Meanwhile, Dick drives up to the hotel by snowmobile. Jack is distracted by the noise and goes to look for a man. After a while, he kills him with an axe, and Denny, feeling it, starts screaming. Jack hears the child scream and runs to him. Wendy also heard a scream and is trying to find the baby. But on her way, she meets several ghosts, and then the body of the cook, which does not show signs of life. The boy runs away into a huge maze. His father notices it, and the lame man runs after him, often walking there with his mother. The child is well oriented in it, which obviously cannot be said about Jack. Danny, masterfully covering his tracks, leads the man to a dead end. Wendy meets her son at the exit of the maze. They run to Dick's snowmobile and drive away, and Jack, having lost his orientation in space, dies of frostbite. Later, we are shown a picture of Jack's body lying half covered in snow, a frightening grimace frozen on his face. At the end of the film, we are shown a scene with a hotel wall hung with photographs. In the center, there is a collective photo which also depicts the main character of the film, Jack. This photo is dated 1921.
The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. And give your opinion too.